when NTV interviewed me at Nation Media Center headquarters in CBD on the death of J.M. Karaoke, I said that GSU are sharpshooters. He was shot in 1975, 50 years ago, by Ben Geddy, the then GSU commandant. And I said that GSU are sharpshooters. Mkurugenzi, without acknowledging my contribution, he repeated the same in his YouTube. But anyway, that is nothing. I wanted to, now somebody may have asked, nobody asked me directly, but somebody may have asked himself or herself, how comes that GSU are sharpshooters? I'll say this. In October 1982, that is when recruitment started for 3 different groups. There was the general duty of police officers, whom people wrongly refer to as regular police. Nothing like regular police. They are called general duty officers. General duty officers are those who do the general work of the police. If you specialize, then you are no longer a general duty. So we were the first team who were recruited as general police officers, general duty police officers, GD, general duty police officers women, that is men and women, and then the general service officers. I want to say here that at no recruitment center were women taken. But when we went to Kiganjo, we met police, recruit police women. How they were, where they were taken and how they were taken, I do not know. This is due respect because one of them later became a member of the Huatenge family. So I will not talk about my in-law. But that time, we even used to ask ourselves in the dormitories. Dormitories are called barracks. That is why you hear Langata barracks, Langata. It means a sleeping area for soldiers. Within the barracks, we used to ask ourselves, where were you recruited? I was recruited at this. Were there female being recruited there? No. But at that time, after we were recruited, I was recruited in the capital. I was recruited at Madare Police Depot. After we were recruited around 19 recruits, 13 of us went to Kiganjo for general duties, and around 6 went to GSU training school, Embakasi. During that time, it was random because I remember there's a Maasai who fell down. The Maasai fainted as we were being processed. And our recruitment took about 3 days. Then when he fainted, he fell down with a thump. And the recruiters came and said, hey, Bwana, we are recruiting a weakling. So they gave him time to explain himself. And he said that when he heard people are being recruited in Nairobi, he never stepped in Nairobi. He walked all the way from Kajiado town, walking all the way to where they were recruiting. And you know, our recruitment took 3 days. So he befriended some Maasai watchmen, such that on day one, when we did most of the things we did on day one, up to us being named the 19. But day 2 and day 3 were for recording. And when we were taken, we could stay in Mathare from morning till evening. We go home. I go back to Mudhurwa. We go home, and you see, you left home. I left Mudhurwa in the morning with a heavy breakfast. Stay the whole day hungry. Go back at around 5 p.m. very hungry and have a heavy meal. But for this Maasai, he was a Maasai by tribe. In the evening, he would go to Maasai watchmen, stay with them. They would boil milkless tea and roast bananas. That is what he survived for 3 days. Imagine he had walked all the way from Kajiado up to Nairobi, walking without eating. Then sleeping with the watchmen at night, not even sleeping, keeping them company. And in the morning, Huatenge comes from Mudhurwa having slept soundly, and this Masai had those accumulated days without sleeping. When he told them, they were shocked. Said, na unafanya nini kwa list ya watu ya Kiganjo? Kuja kwa hii list. So he went to the line which was, that is when we knew that the shorter line was going to GSU and the longer line was going to. Before that, I said when we went to Kiganjo, we met police recruit women, but no policewoman was recruited in Nairobi. No policewoman even lined up in Nairobi. But GSU, we lined up with them. Of course, after completing my recruit, because I was going to an operation area, I had to go to Magad, to GSU training school for about just slightly less than 3 months course. Now, from that time, GSU started being recruited together with the general duty police officers, or if you want to say, together with regular police. Where they used to be recruited before, there are those people who were there even earlier than us, we do not know. But what I know, because I have family ties with Ben Gedhi, the person who killed J.M. Karaoke, is that Ben Gedhi was employed in the police force just like any other direct entry assistant inspector of police. Sub-inspector, they used to call them sub-inspector. He joined the police as a sub-inspector, and then he was posted. He worked with the general duty police officers for some time before he was taken to general service unit, just like Matthews Itere, who later came and became the last commissioner of police. Now, previously we didn't know how those people used to be taken, but my boss, there is NSI Gichangi, NSI Gichangi, that was his initials. He was my intelligence officer boss in West Pokot. He once told us that he joined the police, then straight away went to GSU, and from GSU he went and joined then Special Branch. Mr. Gishangi, when they were being recruited, after completing Kiganjo, they used to look for people who were dull, not sharp people. So what they did is that after passing out, instead of being taken to police stations, They were taken to a classroom in Kiganjo, and a tear gas was thrown in the room. They saw the instructors putting on the gas mask, but they didn't know what. And then tear gases were thrown into the room, and all of them stayed there for the period of the tear gas until, and that is how they ended up in GSU. I've talked of how we pioneered being recruited with GSU, and later on, of course, during that time, APs used to be recruited at the district commissioner's place, but it reached a time when they joined the National Police Service, where recruitment was taken over throughout. Now, what happens is that when you are being recruited, you are recruited holistically. There is the men and women, and also there is the administration police service, there is the general duties, and then there is also the GSU. For you to join DCI, you have to serve under the three, either APS, GD, or even GSU for some time, and then there is something that is called talent spotting. Then you attend an interview, then you are taken as a detective. Because DCI is not just investigation. They also have to have crack units that the ones you hear, Rhino Squad, Kwekwe Squad, whatever they are. These people are not even investigators, but they are crack shooters. They are commandos. Yeah, I think the proper word is commandos. They are commandos. But when you are recruited fresh into the National Police Service, you are asked to choose. Let's say you choose GSU. When you attend GSU, and they find that you are not a sharpshooter, then you go to Kianjo. That is why you get confused when you are in the police station and say, Allah, but we are recruited with you, and you apply to go to the GSU. It is that when you are attending that training, you attend the training and you don't fit their standard. Yes. Many are called. I'm not good in the Bible. Many are called, but few are chosen. Eh? So when you are working for the GSU, when you are trained with the GSU or you are working with the GSU, you undergo training like any other. I want to say here and now that the training of the NYS is similar to infantryman. Yeah, the only difference between the NYS is that they don't deal with firearms. There's a time when Moi curiously recruited a few people and trained them in firearm. Na hiyo story sijui iliishaje. It just but there's a time he took some instructors to Gilgil, and they were even trained and photographed while armed. But then by now they are old. NYS, the training is as tough as an infantryman, the same as KDF, the same as AP, and the same as Kenya Forest, the same as GSU. But the only difference between KDF and all these others is that KDF, you are taken to the military camp. Yes, you do a lot of exercises, but it cannot be compared to the GSU. GSU, you are taken throughout the country, whatever, and after a short time, during our time it was 2 years, you have to go again to Kiganjo and do that thing. You do it so rigorously. And when you reach 35 years, unless you are in the GSU at the command level, if you are not at the command level, you reach 35 years, you go to Kiganjo in what is called conversion course, and you go to the general duties. So when you are working with the GSU, you do a lot of weaponry, and you see, if there is an alarm, I always want to give the example of Westgate. or even Dusit. But let me say Westgate, because Dusit, they had discovered that thing. But Westgate, the nearest police stations, Parklands, Kabete, Central, you rush to the armory, and the gun that is nearest you, you take and sign it for it. In GSU, you are given a firearm where it is specifically for yours. It becomes a firearm that you can use it anytime, anywhere, and you know it like the back of your hand. So that there is something that is called zeroing. It's a bit too complicated to tell a civilian and whatever. But when you are shooting, maybe it is seen that you shoot towards this side, so you are advised to come somewhere in, or you shoot towards that direction, then or you shoot towards this that. So you stay. Let me ask you a question. If you are being taught by one-on-one, one teacher, or even three students per teacher, can you perform the way some people are trained by one teacher when they are 90 in class? No. So in GSU, you have very few instructors, very few students per instructor. He studies you, he studies your mannerism, he studies your weapon, and he advises you to an extent that when it reaches a time when an orange is placed there, you shoot it with a little hesitation. That is why. But if you don't measure up to that, either medically, physically, or anything, they slowly. You remember those young boys who were making. They were ni utoto. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema ni utoto. But you know, all of them were taken to Kiganjo for conversion, and they were taken to general duties. AP started an RDU, Rapid Deployment Unit. To me, that is, I don't like that idea of having RDU when we have REC company, because they are doing the same work. And at the end of the day, I would rather have all paramilitary units be placed under one Deputy Inspector General, so that the Deputy Inspector General becomes the overall for. Now you have RDU, you have REC company, and so on and so on. This may bring up what we call rivalism, where they try, an operation is done by this, and then the other one, when they have the operation, they try to outplay the others. It is my view, and I have to acknowledge that I've read what Wabala said. Dominic Wabala, is one of the best news reporters. There are about 4 or 5. All of them former police officers, but they are very good writers on security. I've just read Wabala saying that those police officers being taken to Haiti are from RDU, Rapid Deployment Unit. They are from Border Patrol Unit, and they are also from REC company. Lastly, let me tell you, for you to be in REC company, I've told you of being a GSU. I've not told you of being a REC, isn't it? After being very good in GSU, that is when you are taken now to Ruiru, Israel, USA, and whatever. It is just that adui wa Mwafrika ni Mwafrika, or as I say, adui wa Mluya ni Mluya. I can tell you that is the best crack squad that can be there. Let them complete their 2-year service, come and tell me. When I have a reputation to take care of, I'm telling you, dying people die. Sikuna mmoja alikufa even before he were in Washington. And police officers also die in West Pokot, Baringo, and whatever. So don't expect the 1,000 to come back. Expect to come around 950. But then police officers die on the course of duty. They also, is it not? Did I hear that there was an inspector who went to kwa mambo ya the people who are taking alcohol and they killed him and took his gun. Let us be serious, let us support our own.